Okay, guys, I'm super excited this evening to be here. This is not the first time to talk to young adults. And tonight we want to... How many of you... Oh, by the way, let me just put it. My name is also Dr. Love. I know you remember that, so you don't have to worry. What's the name again? You know what? Put Doctor and Love. So how many of you, when you go to have a dinner, that always like to take appetizer? Who like to take appetizer before you go to the main dish? And how many of you always like to do that? Okay, let me just put it this way. Let's just presume you are not the one to pay. Well, it's not. I have a tight budget. I don't have to. Let's just say, if you don't have to pay, and somebody said, okay, where do you want to begin? There is appetizer, there is blah, blah, blah. So how many of you would like to take appetizer? Okay, I get that. So tonight is just an appetizer, right? Into something much bigger, which is discovering love with clarity. So and we're going to talk about that. So, but one thing I'm going to promise you tonight is, I know many of you drove a very long time to be here. It will worth your time. I promise you. It will worth your time. So let's just go by beginning to talk about, why do you think that most people are hurt in love relationships? Expectations. Oh, yeah. Put it out there, yeah. What is in your mind? Tell me. Why do you think? You don't have to experience it. Have you ever asked your friends? Why do they feel broken? What?
Because they themselves are hurt, they're broken, they haven't actually healed.
There is a guilt? But what leads to the guilt? You know, the broken.
Healed enough. They're not healed enough.
Oh, they are not healed enough before they went into a new relationship, and now
They're still broken.
they're still broken. Oh, awesome. Oh, yeah, that's it. Any other person? Yes, sir.
Intimacy requires vulnerability.
Wait. I love what he said, but you misunderstood what he said. Because for you, many of us, intimacy is what? Sex. That's not what he meant, right? I think I'm correct. But they say, wow, intimacy. Okay. So any other person? I just want us to. Probably you have been in a relationship before. Let's just be honest.
We don't know how to love.
We don't know how to love, okay?
Sometimes you hurt. Sometimes those that you're closest to are the ones you can hurt the most.
Okay. Okay. Any other person? How many of you have been in a relationship before? Why is it that it didn't work? Yes, sir? Expectations. It looks like that expectation is, okay. Is it unmet expectations or unexpressed expectations? Unexpressed. Okay, that's good. Unrealistic, thank you. That's why we need to break it down, right? Unrealistic expectations. You know, some people that think that you are God, right? They want to marry a perfect person. And then when they marry you, they discover that you are far from perfection, right? And probably also you expected people to be perfect. Any other person? Any other person?
Miscommunication.
What?
Miscommunication.
Okay. The problem of communication, right? Okay. People don't know how to communicate. Okay. So tonight what we are going to do, as I said, looks like an appetizer. I'm going to touch a lot of things. But we're going to give you enough to live tonight and be able to make a decision if you really want to help yourself to understand everything about love, to understand yourself, and understand the vocation of marriage, which is very, very important. So if for us to talk about that, we have to return back to God, right? There is no other place to begin to talk about love if you do not return back to God. And you know what? Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 says, God created us in his image and likeness. He created them male and female. That is where every discussion. I know the society does not be, they do not start from there, right? But that is where, if you really want to have a good understanding about love and everything about love, call it marriage, call it whatever, religious life, whatever it is, you must return to Genesis chapter 1. He created us in his image and likeness. And what does that mean? So when we say we resemble God, does it mean that we look like the way we are? No. So when we say that God created us in his image and likeness, that means we resemble God. What it means is not just the way we look, rather the way we think and act. There is inherent abilities, capabilities that God put in each and every one of us by being created in his image and likeness. I want you to have that, because that is where the whole discussion begins tonight. When someone says you are created in the image and likeness of God, and you look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh my God, I still have a pimple here, right? Does God have pimples, right? No, that's not what it means. It means that there is an inherent ability within you that you are able to bring something out of you. There is something that God deposited in each and every one of us. And we're able to bring it out. And that is where, so because we are created in the image of God, there is a hunger. There is a hunger in our soul. And that hunger is a hunger for love. The hunger for love. So it's very, very important that we understand that. So, and we are also made for relationships. I know some people no longer believe in love. But relationship makes no meaning without love. Don't get me wrong when I say love. I'm bringing it down so that you understand what actually love means. We are created in the image of God, and we are relational because God himself is relationship. So when you hear that God is love, what it means that God is relationship. He is a God that goes out of himself. That's what relationship means, stepping out of yourself. And because God endowed us with that capability and ability, we have the ability to step out of ourselves. And it's something that animals do not have. Animals do not have the ability to relate. Because that is an intentional act, to step out of myself for the good of the other. So relationship is not something that, we decide to be in a relationship. You are created to be in a relationship because that is who you are. You are a relational person. Irrespective of your personality, you may say, well, I'm introvert. No, doesn't mean that you can't relate. Both introvert and extrovert, all of us, we are created to relate. You can't even hold that back. So to deny it is to deny who you are. So here we are created in a manner that nothing can satisfy the hunger deep in our souls other than love. Love is the only thing that can bring peace. Look at what St. Augustine says. God created us for himself, and we will be restless. So love is a way of returning back to who you are. And there is that deep, hunger in each and every one of us, and that is what love has to. So because we are designed for relationship regardless. And many of you now say, well, I'm single. No, you don't have to get married. You don't even have to, to be in a relationship. Primarily, you are meant for relationship. Priests, religious, singles, whoever, you are meant for relationship. So when we talk about relationship, I want you to just wipe it out of your mind, the idea that my life will get better when I'm in a relationship. No. You are already made for relationship. And when you do not understand that, then you will be looking for something. So I just want us to look at what St. John Paul II in Redemptoris Hominis, that means the redemption of man, he says this: man cannot live without love. Wow! What is he talking about? And I want you to clear the idea of when we talk about love, what comes to our mind immediately? Sex. No. Man cannot live without love. So you don't have to be in a love relationship to be in love. And he goes on to say, he remains a being that is incomprehensible for himself. So you do not understand who you are. And that is where, through the identity crisis, a lot of problems that we see in relationship is because people do not know who they are before they enter into relationship. It's not the other person that would define who you are. There are things you need to work on while you are single. Many of us are like, well, I'm just waiting until I get it. No, the problem is that if you do not work on yourself, if you do not do things that you needed to do before you get into relationship, then you'll be very confused. And if two people who do not even understand who they are now into a relationship, Jesus said, can a blind man lead a blind man? You see why people fall into ditch when they are into a relationship. Blind man and a blind woman, where are they going? Right? So you have to do what? Your life is incomprehensible if you do not understand who you are. And he goes on to say, your life is senseless, meaningless, if love is not revealed to you. If love is not revealed to you. And that is why God created us into a family, right? Our parents are supposed to love us unconditionally. Because that is where the first seed of love is nurtured in a family. They do not love you because you did A, Y, and Z. They do not love you because you have a job. They love you because they just love you. So that revelation of love, but above all, that is why Jesus revealed us to him, revealed us by himself, revealing us to himself. So we go on to say, if he does not encounter love. Where do we encounter love? In a relationship? Love relationship? No. And that is why, if you do not know yourself and come to appreciate who you are and come to be in a kind of harmony within yourself, you're going to run into trouble. A lot of people, the problem is not that they married the wrong person. They screw it up because they do not know. They have not encountered love. So something's supposed to happen while you are single. And that is why this program is very, very important while we are single. There are things that we not. Think about those of us who came through West Park Tollway. As soon as you enter the tollway, right? You can't turn back. That's what relationship, So if you miss your road, you're going to keep going. You see? So the problem here is until you encounter love, if he does not experience it and make it his own, so you have to make love your own. And I'm going to just talk about loving yourself, which is quite different from what the society says of loving ourselves. Probably in another program we can go more deeper on that. So if he does not participate intimately with love, and he goes on to say, that is why Christ the Redeemer fully reveals man to himself. So I want you sometimes, you stand before the cross. That is love. That is love. So when you look at that, I want you sometimes take time, just look at that. So Christ revealed, by dying, reveal who we are, and the way we should live life fully is only that. That's the only way to live a full life of love, only when you look at the cross. So what's the meaning of love then? What's the meaning of love? Here we go on to say the topic of love. Society today is becoming very cliche. Everybody's talking about love, love, love. I promise you, many of us don't even understand what love is. And when you go into a relationship with that mindset of what the society is saying about love, you run into trouble. And that is why this program is very important, that you understand what love. So many people talk about love. And you look like where we say today, somebody says, I'm a love expert. Come on. They don't even know what love is. How can you be a love expert when you don't even understand what love is? You have not even looked at Christ to understand what love is. So if you really want to begin to understand the meaning of love, you have to look at Christ. And that's why what we are trying. So love is beyond definition. I'm not here tonight just to define love to you. But love is expressed. It's not just because, I love you, I love you. And that's what many times I want, some people are into a relationship, they want people to tell them, I love you. But true love is what? Expressed. It's not just a flower. Right? So true love is expressed. So love is not an emotion. Love is not sex. Believe me, I promise you, that's not love. People can have sex, does not mean they are in love. So you need to separate it. So I want you, each time you hear about love, and each time in the society, each time we talk about love, what jumps into our mind is sex. We are making love, right? I told married couples, no. Love doesn't happen only in bed. So married couples have to make love, but that does not mean that they have to have sex 20 times a day. That would be too much, right? And many of you say, Father, you asking me, I have never been married before. How would I know? I mean, I'm just imagining that would be too much. I don't know. So you don't have to quote me. So love is not sex. Love is what? Is an inner power. Love is an inner power. It's inside of you and is inside of me. That is why we are created in the image and likeness of God. This is a spiritual faculty. Love is a spiritual what? Faculty. Love is not in the other person. It's in you. And when you realize that you have this ability as one of God's endowments into your life, you're going to have a very clear sense of direction wherever you are going. And when that is not the case, then you'll be in trouble. So, and he goes on to say, love is what? When you begin to love, the more you love, the more your heart is expanded. Love is an expansion of the soul. Love is an expansion of the soul. It's an expansion of the soul. So love is not just a state of being, but a transformative power within us. So when you begin to live a life of love, people around you will feel it. Because there is something in you that comes out of you. And each time you release it, then everybody can feel the impact of love. And we go on to say, we are created to become the infinite flow of divine energy. Love is an energy. It's an energy. It's a spiritual energy. It's a spiritual energy. Each and every one of us, we have it. So we do not make love. We do what? We do not make love. We release what? You release it. You release it. You do not go and hunt for love. You release it. And that is why it's very, very important that you understand that. So we transform ourselves and people around us. So a good, loving relationship is not about finding what? The right person. Becoming the right person. See, that's the problem. Actually, that's the problem. Many of us are into hunting relationship and looking for the perfect guy. No. You become the right person. By the time your heart begins to expand by the power of love. So, you become the right person by expanding your soul, because the energy you generate will attract good you deserve. And sometimes you look like empty people, they meet also empty people. Oh, yeah. Because if you know the kind of energy that you generate, and then with the power of discernment, you will know who is on the same frequency with you and those who do not even have the frequency. I'm telling you the truth. You don't have to blame God for everything. How is it that God allowed me to go through all this? Stop blaming God. You have the solution. You are your solution because God has endowed each and every one of us in such a way that we will live a life full of love. So a good relationship is not about finding the right person. And that's why, guys, when you go to all these, love apps, where people find relationships, which is good. But who in the world, among all those profiles that we put there that say, well, I'm a horrible person? Have you seen somebody who in their own profile says, I'm a horrible person? No, they do not say that. They tell you what you want to hear. I'm a good person. I love babies. I love family. Oh, you say you love families. I want to, no, wait. Don't just rush into it. That's what they say. It doesn't mean that that's who they are. And by the power of discernment we're going to talk about briefly tonight, you're able to filter what people say and who they are. I don't care where you met people. If you met them online, bring them offline so that you may discover who they are. It's not just because they have the best profile, means that what they say is true. It may be true, but I will tell you how you find whether it's true or not. Just hang on there. So, to love is to want to make a difference in someone's life for their sake. Because love is not about looking for somebody to help you do your laundries. I don't like doing laundries. I don't like doing dishes. And now I need to leave my mother's house. My parents want me to leave. What am I going to do? That means I've got to get someone who will help to continue from where my mom stopped. No, that's not the beginning of love. Love is when you are ready to give your life for the good of the other without even any attachment. No string attached. And I will tell you how you will find the real person, because not everyone there, because you may be loving the wrong person, right? The problem is that many times we have good intention, but without discernment, you may love someone who is not even on the same frequency with you. And you can't change that fact. So, love does not take pleasure in wrongdoings, but rejoices in the truth. Love is service. Love is trustworthy. Someone who is always willing, to persevere. If I love you, are you going to stay with me when I need you in those down moments of my life? Are you just going to love me as long as you get what you want? As long as you give me what I want, we will be in a relationship. But any day you stop giving me all those things, then I'm going to give up on you. That is not love. So love rejoices in truth. And that's what I want to quickly show you tonight. It is always serving, trusting, hopeful. Love is self-giving, self-sacrifice. That's why he said, come on, guys, take time and look at this Jesus on the cross. Love par excellence. Self-sacrifice. There is no other way Jesus could have told us that he loved us other than what he did. He didn't just, describe himself and say, I'm a good person. No. He put himself there. So what we are talking about, most people think that the problem of love is primarily a lack of being loved. Nobody loves me. I wish I can get somebody who will love me. No, that's not where your problem begins. Your true problem is in the lack of ability, the capacity to love. It's not of people that love me. is that I have the ability to release love. So that is, when you think about the problem of love, it's not that people can't find people to love them. It's that they don't have the ability to love. And when you have someone who lacks that self-awareness of what they have to offer. And that's one of the things I want to show you quickly. When you are into a relationship, you say, what do you bring to the table? So what you're asking them is not just whether they are able to pay the bills or whether they have a job. Of course, at some point, you go and answer those ones. But what they are bringing to the table is more than just them having a job. I promise you that. So, and you yourself also be able to understand that. So the problem that most loving relationships face is due to immaturity and inability to release love. So the readiness to love, to be in a relationship, must align with the readiness to release love. That's very, very important. Okay, quickly, as I told you, all we are trying to do because of time, trying to help you, give you a quick understanding. And then it's up to you to do whatever you want to do with that. So vocation. So understanding love, it must be in the context of vocation. By the way, when I'm talking of vocation, I don't want you to think about just, oh, well, priest. Father Chris is called to be a priest. No, they're not. No. All of us, created in the image of and likeness of God, we have vocation. You don't have to be in a relationship. You don't have to be in a convent. Or to be a priest, to be to have a vocation, you have a vocation. Because vocation is not just about a call. It is also about answer to a call. So God calls and we answer. So the origin and destination of every vocation is love. The origin and destination of every vocation. Call it priesthood, religious life, marriage, being single. The origin of every vocation is love. I wouldn't be a priest, a good one, which I'm striving to be every day, if I don't have that spiritual ability to release love. How would I love the people that God entrusted to me even when they are annoying me, right? Right? So the vocation is a call to love. Every vocation is a call to love. So discerning any vocation, one must always begin by understanding the vocation to love and cultivating. So that is where I want you, when we talk about discerning of relationship, or to be entering into a relationship, you have to understand that you're already called to love. You do not have to love until you enter into a relationship. And that's one of the things you are looking at. And when you see someone who you're into a relationship with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and they show you love, that may not be enough. Just watch around and see how they treat other people. Because that is what will reveal their true character. Not how they treat you at the moment. Because they needed something. They needed to put the best foot out. So watch how they treat people around them. And that will show you whether they are already in the journey of love. So love as a capacity and a capability. Quickly, I'm running into so love begins with the attitude of what we call kenosis. So kenosis from the Greek word means ekenosen, and we find that in Philippians chapter 2, verse 7, which means to empty. Empty. Philippians chapter 2 says that Jesus, though he was God, he didn't hold equality and he didn't grab that so tight. Rather, he emptied himself. That is an act of love. When Jesus decided to step out from his throne and lowered himself, that is what we call a process of self-emptying. So love is self-emptying. Remember I said, so when you empty yourself, you release love, and that is the way you empty yourself. And that's where that begins. So we look again at Jesus and see that what he did was what we call kenosis, emptying. And to know is to love. Love at first sight, right? Oh my God. Yeah, I understand And I'm not negating about love at first sight. But that could also be just attraction. You cannot love without knowledge. Do you know why God loves us? Bro, you know why God loves you?
Because he knows us.
He knows you. He knows you. So you don't have to pretend to be who you're not. He knows your weakness and then he still loves you. So love begins with what? Knowledge. And that is why St. Paul says, my prayer is that you may abound more and more with knowledge and discernment. So when you get to know people and you choose to love them, that is where in a relationship. So do not be swayed away with this idea of, well, love at first sight. I understand that is, attraction is okay. But that's not the beginning of love. Until you know them and they know you. You know their weakness and they know your own weakness. And then you make a choice. Say, well, I love you nevertheless. So knowledge is very, very important. And tonight I'm talking about, to you, quickly talking about discernment is the key to seeing beyond appearances. Beyond appearances. How people appear and how they pretend to be. And I want to quickly run to you. Discernment is the key. Evaluating actions with their outcomes. So discernment helps you not just because someone did something just once and you just concluded, oh, he's a very good person. No, you have to wait so that until there is a kind of consistency between their actions and their promises over a period of time. And the people that know me very well, I tell people, don't marry anybody within 6 months. I do not endorse that. Yeah. Because you need to get to know them more. You feel like you don't even know yourself. Huh? Right? So when you are single, there are two things I want you to be doing. Knowing yourself. And when you are into a relationship, just take it one step at a time. So that you do not just only stop at appearances. So appearances are good. But there's something more. What you're going to discover, what holds relationship is not how people. And the guys, is he not very interested? At the beginning of January, a lot of people were hitting the gym because they said, this year, I don't want to attend my family gathering again and my grandma will be asking me, when are you getting married? So I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to look good. You see. So the real preparation is not even how we look outside. Yeah, we need to look presentable, right? But the real thing that sustains relationship is what is what? Inside. Because beauty and whatever will fade. As soon as the real thing happens, you begin to discover who they are. So discernment will help you. And because that's why Jesus says, by their fruit. Jesus is oh my God. By their fruit. You will know. Again, going that discernment, discerning love beyond appearance means knowing someone in their core being, their disposition. And that's why I say when you see somebody, look around and see how they treat other people. Look around and see how they treat those they disagree with. Because one day when you're in a relationship, you will disagree with them. And if they call people demons because they disagree with them, one day that will be your own turn. You see? So you need to go there to know someone in their core being, their disposition, and their maturity in the art of loving, their true character, their values. So it is more profound than just settling on a physical attraction. I don't want you. And that's why we say love hurts. The brokenness. Why we feel so broken? We go into a relationship with good intention. We want things to work. But then at the same time, we don't even know what to expect. So discernment is not about choosing from available options. No. It is about the awareness and the disposition to the Spirit of God. God will always lead you when you ask him to lead you. Because discernment is the work of the Spirit. But you need to be open. You do not come to God and say, well, God, you know what? I just want you to endorse this one. I like, tall people. God, if he's not a tall person, don't give it to me. Because I love, I mean, you may have a long person, a very tall person, but they're going to make your life hell. And God will say, well, let me give you a short person like Dr. Love, right? And you will be happy all your life, right? So discernment is not about you putting your options to God and say, well, God, you know what? I want you to sign this one. You're going to see how God is going to lead you as long as you are very open. Because that's why we say discernment is the work of God. So quickly, let me run quickly about this. So how do we discern? Discernment is seeking the truth, both in yourself. So in discovering love with clarity, which I will talk to you in just in a moment, there are 3 movements of discernment. There is what I call the inward movement. There is upward movement, and there is outward movement in the process. So the inward movement is you discovering yourself, knowing who you are, working on yourself. And of course, you can't do that. True discernment must go upward. That is God. And of course, now looking at the other person in front of you, who you want to date. So discernment is not about seeking a clear cut. That's why I say, well, I don't, tell God, I want this one. Give me this one. God, if you give me this one, I will be happy. And God look at you and say, you don't even know what you're asking for. You're going to be miserable all your life. If I give you this one, no, I don't want you to. So that's why many of us are still single. It's okay, right? God knows what he's doing. So dating is discernment. So many people enter into dating being confused. So confusion and lack of discernment characterize most dating relationships. Dating is not just hanging out. A date, let's just go for a date, right? Yeah, maybe it's part of it, but that's not. So every dating must go with discernment. Because in discernment, God helps you to illuminate every step. That's why I say you take your time. You're going to see a kind of consistency. If people are liars, watch. There is a kind of pattern of lying, dishonesty over. You're going to see. And then you're going to make your choice. You see, this is the person I want to leave. They lie even in little things. Things they shouldn't even lie for. That's already telling you who they are inside. So the Holy Spirit and discernment relationship. So one way to seek the truth is to pray. There is no true discernment that does not begin with prayer. And I want you guys, you may think that you want the best for yourself more than God wants for you. It's not true. It's not true. God wants the best for each and every one of us. And to seek him and to bring him into that part of that process is the best thing you can do. And when you neglect God and say, well, God, I don't think I need you on this. Don't worry, God. You know what? When I need you, I will let you know. That's why love hurts, right? God, don't worry about this. I got this. I will check on you, God, when I need you. Maybe the next time you will find yourself will be heartbroken, right? So you begin to pray. That is where, and the kind of prayer is a kind of open prayer. Don't just tell God as if he doesn't know what to do. He knows. He knows what is good for you and I. And he will always lead us to that. And that is why Psalm 32 verse 8 says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you and watch over you. And finally, the fake love. A lot of us got trapped in fake love. When she said he loved me. Is that all? How is it that you just wait by what they said? Or what they just pretended? So fake love, when we say that, a love trap may sound dramatic. But that is something that is very common among all of us. So fake love in any relationship seems a good idea. Because they tell you whatever you want to hear. You close your eyes. And they begin to brainwash you. And you believe everything. Unless you know it's already late. So it is easy to be involved in a relationship that doesn't have, that you don't even recognize why you are really into it. Are you going into a relationship because all your friends are in a relationship? Are you going to just be in a relationship because you're afraid of being alone? Just that? Come on. You should be better than that. And God wants something more than that. So do not just, you have to be able to, with discernment, be able to know what is really good for you. So maybe you are still in a comfort zone, convenient. Well, what if I let this one go? Nothing good will come again. Oh my God, let me just hang in with this one. Do you know how many people who are still in a wrong relationship because they don't want to let go? And until you let go, when you see that this is a dead end, let go. And again, finally, the second there will be attachment syndrome. A lot of us think that we're in a relationship, love relationship, it's just only attachment. Because we do not believe in ourselves. And we do not believe that something good can come out of anything we're doing. So when you put too much work, into a dead-end relationship, you might be reluctant to let go. So attachment can quickly develop in a relationship that is heading nowhere. It's not going anywhere. You know the problems, but you can't let go. You can't. Because you feel that you are lonely. Do you know how many people who are married but they are lonely? Yeah. So don't think that, when you get married, all your problems will be solved. So you solve all the problems even before you get married, because now when you are single, this is the best time to make the best choice. So finally, ignoring red flags. Angie loves red flags all the time. So each time that we do Discovering Love with Clarity on the retreat, there we expand so much on the red flag. And Angie loves it so much. So it's like, I love red flags. So I put that so that Angie will be very happy tonight. So if you spot a red flag in a dating relationship, do not ignore it. Do not. Well, let me just pray, God, this red flag has to disappear, God. No, it's not going to disappear. If they are dishonest people you are dating, I promise you, not any amount of novena that you would do will disappear it. If it's a red flag, it's a red flag. So face them head on, and by asking yourself, why does this red flag matter? Communicating your concern to the person you are dating, and either walking them, they are willing to walk. Sometimes in a relationship, some people say, well, this is who I am. I'm not going to change anything. Really? No. We are human beings. We can make changes. We can adjust. And sometimes the only thing that will happen when the red flag is the only thing that characterizes the relationship, you know what? Quit. Come back home. It's okay. If a relationship does not work, God may be saving you. Yeah. Because a lot of people who are just into that marriage of a thing, because they just want to have a ring. Ring does not change anything. No, it does not. So finally, guys, you can see our time is already up. And when you see this, I'm just like jumping. And we have a program already. You have it already, Discovering Love with Clarity. And we have some people already who have taken that. It's the best formation program anybody can take. And we're already working on that. So the next cohort is beginning in March. So think about it. And it's going to last up to 4 months, but it's already expanded. It's the best thing ever. So on that program, some of these things I'm rushing because I needed to. Neil is already, raising hands for me. So I needed to. We walked through, and there is a lot of conversation with other people who are participating. So those who have done Discovering Love with Clarity will tell you that it worth their time. So think about it. If you think you needed to get to know yourself more, and you needed to have the tools so that when you are dating, you know how to discern. Because the problem is not that God sent you the wrong person or the right person. There are good people there. You may also meet the good person and you screw it up because you don't even know what you want. Right? So Discovering Love with Clarity is the best program right now in the Archdiocese of Galveston in Houston. Actually, we have Deacon Monterubio at the back. So he was the first person with whom we started Discovering Love with Clarity in 2016. So then he was the Monterubio. Okay, thank you. So he has been a very champion of this program all the way 2016. Of course, we now took it back again like 3 years ago with Angie and Ricardo. So I will stop there, guys. So what is in your mind? Any question?
Okay, I'll get the mic right here.
Yeah.
What's like one way that we can kind of differentiate kind of within the scope between selfish and selfless love?
Selfless love, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course, selfish, what does selfishness mean? To hold back. Entitlement, right? The first thing you see someone who is selfish thinks that someone is owing them. Right? That's the beginning of it. And they are not even willing to. And selfless love is when we understand who we are. That's why it's self-knowledge. God created me with an energy of love, and I have to release it. Service. Looking for the good of others. And I'm not saying that you're going to be into a relationship where you're the only one pouring good, and the other people take advantage of you. That's something you need to know head on from the beginning. Is these people selfish? So entitled? Think that they are doing you. Think about it. Somebody say, well, I get to marry you because it looks like you're getting old and nobody wants to marry you. Let me come and help you out. No, please. Don't marry me because you think I'm getting old. Because tomorrow, they know what they're going to tell you. Remember, nobody wanted to marry you, and I did you a good. Now, look at you. No. So it shouldn't be that way. So selfishness begins with entitlement. And of course, when you are in a relationship with somebody who is selfish, there is no idea of companionship. For them, they are doing you good. Whatever it is, they are the one doing you a favor. And someone who has that disposition of love, we said, well, I'm here to serve. And when two people who have the mindset of service come into a relationship, God, I tell you, you will see that relationship, marriage is like heaven. Yeah. Because when you are into a relationship, you are pouring into someone, and your partner is also pouring into you. What again are you talking about heaven? You don't even need to go to heaven, right? Yeah, because that is God's own initiative. And that's why you got to, in discernment, you're able to find where people are and their willingness to commit into a relationship. Any other one, guys? Or I ask you a question myself. No. Any other question or whatever is in your mind? You want me to clarify anything I said that you didn't? Yes, ma'am.
What do you think is like the biggest barrier to like discernment? Like, what do you think could block you the most from it?
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good question. What do you think that is the greatest challenge for discerning a relationship? Right. So the first thing that you need to work on is to believe in yourself. Don't enter into any relationship until you get to, at least, you may not know yourself, but at least you have a good knowledge of who you are. And you understand that this is what I'm bringing into a relationship. And again, you do not just only based on what people say. That's why I say give your relationship time. Never rush it. Because all your life you're going to get married. So why rushing it? Right? So that's the obstacle there is when we enter into a relationship not even knowing who we are and the kind of self-love we have developed for ourselves. You can't even love others because self-love is from where love for others flows from. We'll talk about that in Discovering Love with Clarity. Self-love. So when you have not loved yourself, it's like an empty can. No matter how people pour into you, it's going to keep going away. So but it will be a very good understanding as we go into. There are a lot of other things that can cause problems for people. Any other question, guys, before I give? Okay, yes. So Neil, we have someone here. Okay. Andrea.
So when it comes to loving or learning to love people you're supposed to love, but it's hard to sometimes, especially people you know too well.
Yeah. Family members, right? Yeah. It is not everyone, because that's why, again, there are people you need to also to love from afar, right? There are some family members, no matter what, they will always find a fault, whatever you do. There are people who always question even the good intention that you have for them. They do not believe in themselves. How would they believe in you? So sometimes it's not even about what you think is the problem. How would they love you if they never love themselves? And each time that you do anything good for them, they are very suspicious of everything good. Do you understand? And sometimes you can also love people from afar. You have to accept that's who they are. You can't change them, right? The idea of, again, when you are entering into a relationship, stop thinking that you're going to change people. You cannot. If that's who they are, if they lack self-awareness, they lack it. There's nothing you can do about it. And if something doesn't work, go away. Save yourself from other stuff. You are not Jesus, even Jesus himself, right? Who did everything good. Right? Jesus can tell you who human beings are, right? But he still loved them anyway, right? But do not just get the understanding that difficult people are there. Will always be difficult people, whether in your family or among your friends. But there's something for your fulfillment. You can't settle into marriage with any kind of anything. You need them more than that. But this is the person you're going to wake up every day and say, what in the world that I even say yes to this man or this woman? Oh, my God. And they're going to sleep there with you every day. And you know that we have already stopped annulment, right? So I'm just kidding. So, okay, one question. Okay. Last question? Oh, okay. There's somebody at the back. Yes, sir.
Quick question. So, in the process of discernment, even if you don't see any red flags, how do you know that person is for you?
That's a very good question. So, does it mean that I need to see a red flag to see? There are people who may not be exhibiting the red flags, like what we call red flags, right? But you got to know what is red flags again. Angie loves that. So, some of the things that you think, like in the Discovering Love with Clarity, we have green card, we have yellow card, and we have what? Red card. That's why Angie loved that. So because it breaks down. So there are things when you enter into Discovering Love with Clarity, then you will see what it means. And sometimes the problem there may also be because you see people with green cards. And maybe in your own estimation, they doesn't match in your own idea of what a perfect person should look like, right? And then you miss the good people. And there are people who may not have all the whole red flags, but still, they are still immature, right? You can't meet people and take them where they are not willing to go. There are people who are not yet ready, and you are moving them, or they are pretending they are moving. They may be good people. They may also be youth leaders, right? Youth ministers, right? Some people say, well, I'm going to just marry because look at him. Oh, he's always in the church. Come on, guys. Even if that person is sleeping inside the tabernacle, doesn't mean that, they are perfect people for you. Divorce happen everywhere, whether they are Catholics or not, right? Let's just not get it wrong. So you may have someone, don't get me wrong, guys. To pray is good. But there are some people who also pray, but they lack awareness of who they are, right? So they have not matured. So that when you are praying, don't mix spirituality with reality. You need to, no matter how pious and holy you are, please, human development is very important. Because you're not going to marry an angel. You're going to marry a human being, right? So because those of us who are always praying and staying in the tabernacle, we see only the angels, that we fail to see the human being by our side, right? Yeah, so when we are talking about red flag, it may not be that they have bad characters, but probably they are still immature. Their fruit of love is not yet ripe. They have not come to the point that they understand that marriage is a vocation. They may be good people, but in their mind, somebody should take care of them. And you don't want to marry someone and end up being their mom or their dad. You want a husband or a wife, a partner. So not everyone here is yet on that. Okay. Thank you, guys.